Hello and welcome to episode 27 of the D Hoop University podcast. This is your host, Daryl Harris, also known as the Hoopster. And this is the eve of free agency in the NBA. July 1st is never safe in the basketball world. And it's funny because it's also the hours after my birthday. And 24 hours ago, I did a little something where I didn't want to talk any basketball, record it. That's coming soon. But just this one day later, and as you're about to see, I had a lot to say about what this free agency forecast essentially is. So we're getting right into it. Me and Shiv, casual diehards. We're going to touch bases on teams that haven't been mentioned yet in moves that are going to be made. And throw out some ideas that are not being circulated, at least not in mass. We're going to touch in with our sources. Hint, hint. Wink, wink. And then after that, we're going to talk about the youngins. We're going to have a 22 and under ranking of guys already in the league. So not these current rookie class. Guys that played the last couple years, still under the age of 22. And it's not a concrete rubric for this outside of if we could have this guy on our team, that's how we're ranking this list. And it puts into perspective, where the young talent is shaping up and what direction the league might be going in. So we're going to have some fun with that. Without further ado, folks, J.O., let's talk some hoops. Top of the top, Shiv. What's happening, bro?
What's happening, big dog? Happy birthday. Everybody, wish my dog a happy birthday. 26. 26 around the sun. 26 more to go, and then 26 after that.
26 big ones. 26 large. You know what I mean? Shout out to whoever I talked to today. Talked to a lot of folks. Talked to family, friends, fraternity brothers, you know what I mean? Co-workers did their thing because I went to work today, produced a nice little 11 p.m. newscast. This is my second recording, technically on my birthday, air quote, because I'll allude to it here. But I did a little something yesterday, solo dolo, off the strength, and that's something that's in the works. We'll touch that up, and I'll have it ready for y'all. But yeah, no, man, shout out to one Brian Loftus.
There we go.
My guy at work, my anchor. He hooked your boy up with some Mediterranean food today.
Ooh.
It was a worthy recommendation.
Shout out,
yeah,
Mr. Brian, Mr.
Yeah,
B.
man, good guy, man. So I didn't talk any basketball yesterday either. I think I gave, or in this ghost recording that I'm alluding to, I gave basketball legitimately 90 seconds.
Nice.
Or the NBA, I'll say.
Yeah.
And it was because I was like, I don't want to talk about any of this. Like it's a couple days of like, slow motion, pump fake here, fake news here.
Yeah.
But
generalities and ambiguities.
It's funny how things change in 24 hours because tonight I'm like, all right, let's go.
Let's
freaking go.
Let's usher in the new era. Let's do it.
Took some notes before this and plan to cover a lot, but let's start with, the free agency, is active in less than 36 hours, less than 24 hours now.
The tampering has already begun.
Yeah, it's in full swing.
Is in full swing.
Shout out to Jacob, because after we recorded our last pod, we kept talking a little bit, and he said how Mitch Kupchak, he loved Mitch Kupchak because he was just a nice guy. He was like, Mitch Kupchak's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Like he'll wait his turn. Like he'll be patient. He'll follow the rules. Like
Yeah.
he's not going to call you before midnight. Like when the play when free agency begins. Um, but yeah, no, all that's happening right now.
Yeah. The handshake deals, the
You
star
know,
67 before the phone call.
the ping pong ball with the most odds of number one right now, or the pervasive topic is still Damian Lillard,
Yeah.
which is picking up steam, dude. We're on the cusp, is what I referenced. You know, I think we're on the cusp of it happening, and I'm still not sure where. It all signs are pointing to Miami,
Yeah.
but the obvious, is far from a sure thing. So
I just don't. Does Miami really have the best package to offer? Like, seriously. Because if I'm Portland, like, okay, like, yeah, I guess I get like Tyler Hero.
they
I
have a
guess I can
they,
like
yeah, they don't have the best offer for Portland. That's for sure. In terms if we're
I
just talking
guess
about
I'll get
assets and pieces,
yeah.
they're not quite delivering the pieces that Portland would want in this trade. I'll mention some other teams that have been loosely tied, but Brooklyn. There's a good deal of Brooklyn
Yeah,
chatter.
Brooklyn could definitely swing something.
Packages centering around Nick Claxton, a couple
Yeah,
picks that they just got from Phoenix,
yeah,
and an assortment of role players. They got some good role players to choose from. Dinwiddie, you can replace some volume,
yeah.
there. And Brooklyn is Brooklyn. That's New York City.
He's boys
That's
with Mikhail. I believe their friendship has been well documented since the beginning of this summer.
Mikhail's one of the most complimentary players in the NBA,
Yeah,
and you know Dame going there. Dame averaged his most points per game last season and had his best efficiency. And it's funny because he's in the Steph Curry class where they've been doing this for so long now that they're legitimately all timers when it comes to this scoring and shooting, but they also haven't fallen off yet.
yeah, yeah.
So this is a big deal. It's a big deal whenever he
I don't
does.
know if it'll happen soon. I do think he won't be a trailblazer by All-Star break next year. So even if
Yeah.
it takes into the season a little bit, I could see that happening as well.
Yeah, there's a couple checkpoints. I
Yeah,
would say that it could happen right around tip of free agency because if you're Portland, then you still have all
the
of the
whole summer.
dominoes
Yep.
to see how free agency might play, who you can go for. So you have incentive to do it then.
Right.
But there's also, hey, we don't need to settle and make a bad move. The assets going nowhere. I said this to Isaiah today. There's always going to be a front office more desperate or aggressive than you at that at a point in time.
Yeah.
So the
Hey,
waiting game.
maybe Brad is cooking something up. He did acquire a plethora of second round picks. We do have some pieces
a la
without
Pey-
having to give up Jaylen Brown.
a la Peyton Pritchard.
Please return him to the Pacific Northwest. The Oregon kid, the 4-year Oregon player, you don't think he's itching to get his chance back in the home region in the PNW? Shout out to David Barhanovich.
Who says no? Maybe you throw in JD.
That's what I love about Twitter. It'll be like some of the most ridiculous trades. It'll be like Damian Lillard for Grant Williams, Peyton Pritchard, and like a first round pick and like 3 second round picks and like a pick swap. And it's like, who says no? And it's like the whole comment section is just like you'll get like a Nuggets fan that's like, yeah, like we have a better package. And it's like, dude, what are these people on sometimes? Like honestly.
So I'm
You know
also
what's crazy? This has nothing to do with Dame. This has more to do with like Twitter, basketball,
yeah.
like just like general like people. And they're just like Celtics fans have kind of like some of Celtics Twitter, I would say like 20% minority of Celtics Twitter has like deluded themselves into thinking that we can trade for Tyrese Halliburton. And it's just like, what fantasy world do you live in? Like, do you only play 2K and just like force the trades through? Because like why would some of these people's trade ideas are just so bizarre. And I think that's kind of
the
one side
internet
of Twitter.
the internet community is it's
Unreal.
in it's in it's in uncharted territory
It
because it's
is.
like you really don't know where home is, like where you want to spend your time to
Yeah.
find what you're looking for. Because it was Twitter checked all the boxes in the not too distant past, and now it's just like
Under
I'm
the
not
new regime.
fully. It's like, and it's not even just that because that's easy to say, but nah, I feel
Yeah.
metaphorically,
And we can get
but
Tyrese Halliburton without giving up Jalen Brown. And it's like, what?
nah, it's just like with certain aspects to it, it's like I'm not really a part of what's happening on this app, but I
Yeah,
don't have the alternative yet.
exactly. I'm just kind of watching it.
I'm still spending my time and I'm having fun.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see what's
I
up.
don't live
See
in I don't live in Candyland, you know what I mean? Like I'm not this is no shoots and ladders for me.
two more teams I'll throw in for Dame.
Yeah, let's do that.
First, because the next one's going to take us elsewhere. This one also could have taken us elsewhere. Stay tuned, folks, because we have a list of some young guys coming. That's going to be really good. Um, Minnesota,
How?
couple of ways, couple of ways.
Cat? Gobert? Well, no one wants Gobert. I mean,
we,
unrivaled.
I know we say all of that, you know what I mean? And like I get it. The Gobert trade is so laughable and so egregious, to poke at and what they gave up.
Dude, it's like probably the
And
worst
he's
trade I think
making
I've ever experienced.
right, because the trade has like a timestamp on it. Like it's like signed at a date and time where it's like you did that, then wow. For that,
Exactly.
wow.
In retrospect, well, so
the
it's one of those
team
things
the
where it's
team
like
reaping the
anti-one.
benefits the team reaping the benefits is going to move on from that.
Yeah.
And if they just look at how Bradley, like 6 months ago, the Washington Wizards were pretty much a joke. And the even them, remember the first night when the Bradley Beal trade happened before they flipped Chris Paul, and it was wow, all you got to show for Bradley Beal, Porzingis, John Wall, all these guys is what? And then 24 hours later, they spun it all the way around again. And it's like, all
Yeah.
right, yeah, now Washington's kind of loaded. They're going to tank, they're still in the tank, quote unquote. But
Right.
you looking at the return and it's like, wow, they got out of a situation we made fun of
Yeah.
for a long time.
Right.
Gobert is easy to make fun of. How many centers are still better than him on one side of the floor? And
That's fair.
overall, if you're trying to compete, and consider your alternatives. And look, everybody's going to be making a couple numbers like this coming soon. So that,
Yeah.
rosters are going to have one or two of these guys over 30 mil. So
No,
if
yeah.
Gobert's one of them, but you're getting a 95th percentile defensive big, and you're trying to get better, somebody's going to try it. So I think it could be centered around Gobert or Towns.
Yeah.
And there's still an assortment of young guys there. The fact that they just extended Nas Reed on a
Yeah.
good contract
Yeah.
means that, yeah, we do have the three of y'all, but why would we keep the three of y'all?
No, that's a great angle. I haven't checked up on Minnesota, but I assume they have no draft capital whatsoever after just mortgaging it all.
They
But
lost. They lost a chunk. They lost a chunk. Teams can
but
still
no,
pull off the
I
pick
would
swaps,
love to
but
see that. Go get Ant a guy. Like go
it's
get him some help. I'm with you. I'm with you. I would like to see that.
it's their way of doing that, of sending
Yeah.
something to be like, you
Yeah.
know what? Hey, well, we'll keep trying because we tried with Gobert. That's why we did
Right.
it, like in the first
Right.
place. And it's like,
Yep.
don't worry. Hold on. Give us 6 months. We'll work it. We'll work on it. We won't
I
ignore
like
the
it.
obvious. Jaden McDaniels, keep him more
Yeah.
done, but it's like maybe a guy that they want. And then if you're Portland, where that Miami trade doesn't check the boxes for you, all right, let's do this one. Ooh, we're getting a all-star big man, and we're
Yeah.
getting a 3-and-D guy starter.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, stretch four possibly, and like some other
No.
consideration. Now we kind of make sense. Like
Right. No, hey, I would like to see that too because from what it seems like Dame does not want to be on a team that's already kind of loaded. So That makes sense from a Minnesota
That's a
perspective.
move he would respect, right? It's like, all right, you know what? I get to go over here play with this young guy who I probably think is nuts. Ain't never played with anybody like it.
Yeah.
And unless we're shouting out Brandon Roy, at the in the early days,
In the early days. Shout out to LaMarcus Aldridge.
Nick Batum,
We
ladies
might
and
have
gentlemen,
we might have had an aging Rudy Fernandez at that time.
Jared Bayless, anybody,
They don't know. They don't know about Jared Bayless with the bald head and the headband.
Ricky, Summer League MVP, his rookie season. I thought he was going to be great. I watched it.
He was special.
Yeah, no, man. So hey, and also Minnesota got in the playoff the last 2 years. They're
Yeah,
still ahead of trajectory in terms of what their perception overall probably is. So they might be they're gonna probably keep trying to be aggressive because you got Ant and you want to do whatever is possible to hold on to that when you're, a market like
right,
Minnesota.
right.
Chicago.
I
And
Chicago's just so mismanaged, dude. Like, I think Portland will do Dame the courtesy of presenting him with the packages, and it's like, okay, like based on this, like this is what we think makes sense as management, but what they'll defer to him ultimately. And if I'm Dame, do I really want to go to Chicago where it just seems like they just, for whatever reason, they can't get it right. They get close. They got close a couple times with like the D Rose, Jimmy Butler, D Wade, Rondo thing that they had going on. I don't know if they were all on the same team at that point in time, but like, you know what I mean? It seems like,
that was a 5 year stretch.
but it's just like they just can never. I
No, I
don't
know.
know. Bill
No,
Bill
I gotta
Simmons had
shout
the
out.
whole
Right, I have.
Chicago is like the team that's like not good, but they're like not bad. But it's just like do I want to what are they doing like with Kobe White and like the Kirk Heinrich days are gone, man. Like they need a hard reset, in my opinion. Like get rid of Levine, get rid of Lonzo, get rid of Vooch,
Well, that's going to get us
just
right
clear
into
it out and just
that.
like start afresh because they don't have anything going for them.
So we say that too. That'll get us right also in the free agency and kind of off a Dame because Chicago probably doesn't have what Portland wants either in DeRozan or Levine, but it's something that you maybe look at.
No, I if you
Maybe they're
can get
throwing in
Levine, I
Patrick.
think that's great. Yeah.
Maybe they're throwing in Patrick Williams. Maybe they're doing something else. Maybe they're throwing in Caruso. But Portland is, I mean, Chicago rather is kind of like Minnesota, but in the East because they were in the playoffs season prior to this past one, and they were up 9 on Miami with 2 or 3 minutes left in
Yeah.
the playing game of this one,
Yeah.
and then would have caught Milwaukee. But you do feel like you've hit a ceiling with what a team was spearheaded by, two scoring wings with, limited upside, but still great individually, but they've hit a ceiling because that also doesn't maximize Boots because they're ISO guys and Zach's catch it and do whatever guy, but
Right.
paces are kind of clashing and it's not three puzzle pieces that really go
Right.
together.
Right.
But they just extended Vooch on a reasonable deal.
Yeah.
He's in the Gobert class of, yeah, you might not love him, but hey, let's be real here. Like he's
Not a lot of centers are
yeah,
doing what he's able to do.
top 15 at the position or so, par for the course, keep you afloat, former all-star, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, Beyond them forcing a Dame trade, because I don't see that happening. I think that's the team that is getting calls right now for the backup Dame trade. And or like as the team's plan B when like
Yeah.
say Miami doesn't get him or just for whatever, like Portland keeps him or Portland goes deals him somewhere else. Miami's like, how about we maybe go and get somebody like that, or a different team is going to start making calls. Maybe the Lakers are making calls.
Right.
Maybe,
No, I'm sure a lot of teams are making calls. I feel like with Dame, it's kind of the discourse around Dame is what I'm more fascinated by than the actual trade package, in my opinion. Because the discourse around Dame went from free Dame to, oh, Dame's a bitch for like not forcing his way out. But the things that you love about Dame are the fact that he's willing to stick through the small market. He's willing to stick through the ups and the downs. And that's what we want from players nowadays in the peak of player mobility. We're like, oh, like, KD never stays with a team, like LeBron never stays with a team, like, you know what I mean? Like guys just don't stay with teams. And now we have a guy who's a veteran in the league who stayed with a team and he reaffirms the fact that he wants to stay with the team and he wants to win and have success there. And people are just like, nah, you need to leave, bro. And it's like, well, you can't really have it both ways, right? So the change in attitude around the perception of the way Damian Lillard is handling this is pretty interesting to me. I'm not gonna lie to you
yeah.
because it's just so bizarre. I don't think
That,
NBA
that's
fans know what
the
they want.
that's the thing's just getting messy before it's all said and done. And where it's like, yeah, it goes through a straight phase of like, all right, yeah, it's getting weird.
It's
There
like
might
the
there's a
Seinfeld,
breakup coming.
you know the Seinfeld episode where Jerry is explaining like the higher up you touch on your face when somebody asks you about your relationship, like the worse it is. So it's like, oh, how's your girlfriend? It's like, oh, she's good. And it's like, oh, she's good. Like it's like, oh, it's at the head scratching point when they ask you about your like lady or they're asking you about your partner. You're like, ah, she's good. And it's like, yeah, I want to be here, Like
No,
it's
bro, it's done. We've
yeah,
said this
it's
multiple
done.
episodes
And
now,
yeah,
and
it is
it's
done.
happening. But yeah,
It's done.
things get a little loopy right before it happens. So
You know
it's
if the Raptors are inquiring, they want Dame and 4 first rounders.
s- Scoot, yo,
Masai, please. This is
knock it
not this
off,
is not 2019.
knock it off. He's reaching for the stars. Uh, yeah, no. What was I going to say? Ah, yeah, no, man.
No,
Portland.
that is interesting though. I never thought about Dame to Minnesota. I never thought about Dame to Chicago. I am definitely interested to see what the trade package looks like. Definitely, because stars are going for Chex Mix and purple vitamin water nowadays. So who knows? Some team really might
Hard
be able to.
reset. Market hit a hard reset. You know, you love to see it. That's what the stock dividend does. Oh,
What was
you
Adam
wake up,
Smith in the invisible hand? What do
dude.
you know?
You wake up and Apple's stock is a quarter of what it was the day before, and you're like, wait, and it's like,
Look at us,
yeah,
dude.
here you go. This is what you got now. It was getting a little too treacherous out here.
You guys get everything on this pod, man. You get basketball info, you get life info, you get stock perceptions. We do it all.
You know what I
Two-way
mean?
playmaker.
Now I got a bunch of guys down. They're not all going to take a bunch of time. So, feel free to highlight a little bit more who you want.
Yeah.
But I meant to say as well with Miami. Sources are saying
Let's hear what they're saying.
that the Miami Heat may not be that, focused on Dame anymore, and that there might be a package coming out of Salt Lake City that they're intrigued by, because Danny Ainge loves him some Tyler Hero.
Yeah, maybe. I don't for who?
Well, they have
Lowry? Lowry
no,
Bird?
no, but they've got the Colin Sextons of the world that they're probably willing to cut bait with, the Kelly Olynyk's of the world
Oh,
that are ready
dog
for heat,
mentality.
that are ready for heat culture.
Oh
And
God.
you gotta free up some minutes for Jaime.
Dude, I love I love Jaime Jaquez. I think he's Jaime Jaquez Jr., right? He's the real Triple J.
Yeah, he's here.
Um,
He's here.
no, he's nice, dude. He's nice. He's like him and Juzang. For people who watch college basketball, Johnny Juzang is about to be him in Utah as well when they start giving my guy some burn.
There, yeah, no, but they were. That was, another something special. If you've been following college LA hoops, because these guys are an up and down bunch, but those guys put some buckets together.
Those guys can play.
They put
He's
some
really
runs
not a guy.
together in
No,
college basketball. Some guys where you look at them and you're like, this is not who UCLA is playing through right now. Like, this is not the face of UCLA basketball right now.
yeah,
And it's like, hold on, buddy, you got another thing coming.
yeah.
Honestly, there's some Ginobili, I feel like, in
Yeah.
a guy like Hawkes.
Hockey. The thing that I love about Jaime
I know,
is
I love that we all, are super high on him after he's gotten taken now and all that. But
no, dude.
once you sit and look at stuff some more, it's just like, ooh, I think they're right. I think
No, he's dude, he's a dog. Like he's guarding, he can handle the rock, he can finish, he can
he
shoot, he
plays
can play.
defense, bro.
Dude, he's a great.
He plays defense. He makes contested twos.
I
He
think the
makes
Warriors picked right after Miami, or did they pick right before? I can't remember.
I want to
But
say before, and yeah,
the fact that they swung and missed on him is insane because dude, he is nice, and people are gonna realize this in a couple years when he
yeah.
gets more run, bro. Like he can play,
You
man.
you
He can
you mean
really
you say
play,
that you mean that you think he's not going to get run this year? He's getting run.
and he probably gets a little run. He gets a little run.
Jaime?
Yeah, Jaime gets a little run.
Oh, he's going to average about 20-24 minutes. He's gonna earn those minutes by the end of the year.
Well, yeah, I guess it depends on what they're doing with like
Yeah.
Max Strus and stuff, right? So
Right.
who knows?
So let's get right into a bunch of guys that are going to be hitting the market. The top tier is Kyrie and Harden. I don't want to spend a lot of time here because um, suitors aren't jumping out of the woodwork. I think that it's pointing towards both of them going back home. Harden is a bit of a wild card still, but I think that I've realized that he's not taking a pay cut. So I'm only headed to max contract city.
Yeah,
And I will throw this in here so that way we can talk, keep this in mind. Teams with the most cap space going into this offseason in free agency are Houston, number one, Indiana, number two, San Antonio, number three, Detroit, Orlando, number five. Those are all teams that can easily throw max contracts at guys right now. And then after that, there's a lot of possibles, and almost everybody has some variation of where they can make the moves to fit a max contract guy. But
right.
those are the teams that got money to blow. And Harden to Houston doesn't really feel like it's happening. I don't think it is. And I said, Harden, you need to think about LA. And if LA were to make the space for a max guy, let's talk about it.
Yeah,
But let's really talk about it. I
dude.
think those three puzzle pieces go together.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like it's happening. And Kyrie, his main boat was LA. I don't think it's happening. So I think he's going back to Dallas, where he's going to make $270+ million.
I don't see him being in Dallas.
He's the
I
guy.
I I enjoy the idea of him being in Dallas, but listen, I live in Austin. A lot of my great friends live in Dallas. Great friends, great people, great minds.
Zion Williamson's on the pod. I love Dallas.
Zion loves Dallas, and Kyrie just doesn't strike me as a guy that wants to be. Dallas is not what Kyrie's looking for. Like just out of like a place to be. Like I think you and I, the older we get, the more we realize like where you live, like the location of where you live impacts how you perceive life, like to a very large degree. And for some people, that is, you know, Greenwich, Connecticut, or it's, Hartford. For some people, it's Manhattan. And Kyrie is just one of those guys that I think Dallas is too Dallas. We're in the
No, I feel you.
suburbs,
I feel you. No,
you know,
Chuck.
big football place. They got a great fan base for the Mavericks, but it's Cowboys town. Um, I don't know where I see Kyrie. And that's partially because I don't know who's lining up to pay him. And I don't whether I think that's warranted or not is not the debate here. It's just I don't know who wants to really
Well,
like who's
you look at
willing.
this list, and the only teams that don't have to jump through leaps and bounds to get him would be Houston, Indiana, San Antonio, Detroit,
Right,
and Orlando.
right,
Kind of Utah, kind of OKC, kind of Atlanta. None of those teams are going to do it though. So
exactly.
it weeds it out. He's going back to Dallas, guys. Hey, you heard it here first. He actually, Chuck said it too. But yeah, no, he's their guy. They kind of adopted him, and you find yourself spending more time in Texas than you planned on.
Hey, I am a living example of it. I am a living example of it.
You find reasons not to leave once you're there,
It's a beautiful state. God's green earth, baby.
and I can think of. I'm telling you, there's 270 million reasons waiting on him.
Yeah.
You just got to put pen to paper.
270 millions and 3 guest appearances on Shark Tank.
Let's see if we can get it done.
Lifetime,
Let's give it a
lifetime,
go.
lifetime honey butter chicken biscuit supply from Whataburger, and a $300 gift card to Dick's Sporting Goods.
I was going to say Five Below.
Yeah, I don't know. That's hilarious.
So yeah, those guys are in a class. Um, Funny, we're not mentioning Westbrook. I don't think that it's a given that he's going back to LA. And he's at a contract where I don't know what his market is. Therefore, there's probably 25 teams that can put together whatever his contract ends up being. He signed a $10 million deal to go, finish the year
Yeah.
in LA. And he might not get much more than that annually. Any team that's mid-level range. So if he's mid-level range for guys, he could go anywhere.
Yeah.
Also a candidate for Miami.
Not a
If we're
bad
talking
idea.
talking about on the low, you know,
Not a bad idea. I
maybe Philadelphia.
also not a bad idea. I am interested to see where I think there will be more suitors than not for Westbrook just because he showed you in the playoffs exactly what he is. And in the playoffs, you need a dog. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter like who's turning the ball over, blah blah blah. Like at the end of the day, like even though Jaylen Brown had a ton of turnovers, I'm still riding with a dog, like over, a more conservative kind of guy. And so I'm sure he'll have people that are interested. I don't know what the trade what the contract value is though. I think that's a great point because he's not a guy you throw a ton of money at anymore. And I don't know.
Yeah. It's probably not even a long-term deal. But if there's one out there that's for him, then that's probably I could see his interest lying in very open-ended, knowing that he's going to get a call and I'll just have to weigh where it's at. Do I want to go
Yeah.
play for maybe a championship? Do I want to, secure the best contract that I can while I can?
Hashtag
We
bring
got some
Russ back
options.
home to OKC.
Hey, who knows,
Mentor the young guys. Give them the OKC culture, you know what I mean?
Now, in terms of being kind of a guy or a conservative guy, whatever is it you said something like that 30 seconds ago. Where do you have Tobias Harris on that scale? Of
Humble cookies. He's like their newest like sales regional manager. The thing that was interesting about the Tobias comments was he started off great. The casuals would trade me for crumble cookies. And then he went on to like almost argue for himself. It's like
well, you felt it. He got real for a second. He got real.
he did get real.
You
He
don't
did
hear
get
you don't hear from Tobias Harris. That's like when Oscar Robertson came out to talk about the
yeah.
Warriors or whoever he said.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, yeah, like Steph wouldn't do this in the 60s. I would just pick him up full court." Oh, really? Oh, really, Oscar? You don't think guys have tried that
Oscar, we
in
haven't heard
2018?
Oscar, we haven't heard from you in decades. Is
Dude,
everything
he
okay?
emerges from the caves, from whatever nature they have in wherever he is, and he emerges with that. That was insane. To this day, that was insane. But
But yeah, no, Tobias, man, I said this in the first episode talking about teams in the East that we were looking at. I was like, hey, he's not the worst thing ever. And I guess
no,
I'm just that guy in the room where I'm like, hey, y'all, well, let's still look
he
at the
just makes
rest of
so
the
much
list.
money for his position, and
It
he's
was like that. It's about to be like that, though.
hey,
It's
it
about
is.
to be like that. It's the
I
Gobert. It's the teams are going to have 2 to 3, 4 guys. I get that these are our crutch arguments, but it's like nah, like they're still guys. They're going to end up on rosters. Guys, the teams are going to pay them.
yeah, for sure. I mean, hey, maybe that's someone Portland looks into. And if they want to keep Dame, maybe you try to go get a guy like Tobias.
And folks were high on him, and coming out of Detroit,
Yeah,
and
he had a great couple seasons in Detroit.
you know, I don't know. Tobias he's out there, and I said this. I mentioned this on one of our last send offs whenever we recorded was that hey, teams are making calls on Tobias. That's
Yeah,
something. That was a week or so ago. So that's developing. I think that's also pointing towards something. Some more guys. Fred VanVleet's out there.
yeah.
Austin Reeves is out there. Cam Johnson's out there.
I like Cam. I like overpaying for Cam, in my opinion. I think Cam has a
This is
ton of upside.
yeah. I'll throw in guys like Kobe White, Cam Reddish, PJ. These are all restricteds.
Yeah.
So Fred actually opted out, so he's not amongst that group of restricteds, but he's in that list of guys where it's like, all right, we're not trying to go too far, and the team holding on to him has wants to, but for the right price,
Right.
and there's possibly somebody out there who's like, we don't care,
Yeah.
we want to at least go get him from you,
And I think
and
that's the thing about free agency. We can speculate as much as we want, but there are teams that we don't know about that are just going to be willing to go get their guy. Like no, we need a point guard.
Sacramento has money to do something.
Dude. And
Sacramento has spending money
so not
and fluid
only
assets wise.
not only was I thinking that, but I was like, huh, like why wouldn't Sacramento maybe try to go get Dame? Like you want Malik Monk and like Keegan Murray or like Harrison Barnes and like some picks? Yeah, I'm down.
Nah, it ain't happening.
If they have the
That's
money to make it work, they should at least pursue it.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it would be nice next
Because
to
if you have a
Fox, maybe,
dynamic
but
backcourt of like Fox and Dame, and you add a healthy Sabonis to that rotation,
yeah, I don't know. I don't love it. I don't love it.
I
But
do.
it could be something. It could be something. If there was a way, the way might involve
Think about
Fox.
the elite guard play in the Bay at that point. You got Chris Paul, you got Steph, you got Dame, you got
Well, I
De'Aaron
think that
Fox.
yeah, the game does things every few years, and we could be transitioning to a stage where teams are playing 3 guards
Yeah,
with some giants at the same time, and other teams are going to be playing everybody over 6'6".
yeah.
But more guys. Dylan Brooks. He had a pretty noticeable regression in
Tumultuous
his
offseason.
yeah, but his shooting numbers there was regression, but there was a lot going on, and I think that change of scenery will do a lot because the year before that he was an upside guy. He was a guy that people thought was really one of the underrated contributors to a winning team, and he still has that player in him.
I
Depends where he
think that
goes.
the hate was so blown out of
Yeah, he
proportion.
earned it though. Yeah,
He
he
earned
walked
it, and we
he walked
talked about it
himself
on the
into
pod. We
he
talked
walked
about it on the
himself
pod.
into it. He walked
But
himself
at the
right
same
into it.
time, like that's how you there are those types of guys.
Yeah,
And
maybe the kid walks away from the fight with his head held high.
and that whole thing about how it's like, his career might be done. No, it won't. He was
No, he's
vying
gonna
for
yeah.
college player of the year while he was in college at Oregon. This guy averaged over 20 a game at Oregon, if I remember correctly. the kid can play. So it's a matter of finding the organization that really gets the best out of him and works to develop his jumper.
Dude, I meant to say that I'm actually still I'm a little concerned about the Reeves situation. Like I didn't expand on Reeves. I will
Yeah,
before we move on. But I'm concerned because I think I would like him to come back. I would
yeah,
like him to come back. I took another deep dive, and Lakers were better with him on the court versus off all year long,
yeah,
or in the regular season and the postseason.
yeah.
He also had the highest true shooting percentage out of any non-center.
Wow.
And true shooting, essentially, it weighs your 3-point percentage a little higher than 2-point percentage. It combines that twos, threes, and free
Yep.
throws into a, kind of balanced
Okay, yeah,
percentage. So I think he's a guy. I wasn't sure who would do it, but we're not talking about Kyrie. Remember where I was like, no, the Indiana, San Antonio, Detroit, Orlando, Utah, Atlanta, they're not Memphis. They're not throwing a bag at Kyrie.
right.
They might throw 100 million at Reeves.
Yeah,
So if they max him out, I think the Lakers are they might be all in. They might be all in on him, and that would be their move because if they do that, then that just comes with all right. We're fleshing the rest of this out pretty skinny, which means that probably no
yeah,
Hachimura, probably no Lonnie Walker, probably no Dennis, unless these guys were to just come back for the low ski.
right.
No Van Vliet, no mid level, no kind of high end guys, and there's some restricteds that are, I mentioned Cam Reddish earlier, I mentioned Kobe White earlier,
Right.
I mentioned, Grant Williams is in this limbo class. There's more guys. There's Max Strus. There's DiVincenzo. There's your boy Seth Curry. That is. There's Gary Trent,
Yeah,
Oubre, Clarkson. These are just some guys that can be in New Jerseys next year.
yeah,
And if not to focus on the Lakers, but to use that comparison, it's like, all right, are you going to allot all of your flexibility for any of these guys by locking down Reeves, or are you going to, keep your options very open by not locking yourself down to that? So I don't know. I don't think that there's a clear wrong answer for them, but I think if we rely on history, that bubble championship team,
yeah.
they didn't keep it together. If they did, we're looking back like, yeah, you probably had another one or two on the table.
Right.
And
Well,
and this team they assembled at the deadline got them knocking on the door.
no, I
So
agree.
if we just hold that together and reinforce it,
I agree.
maybe that's the move.
I think a lot of teams are gonna throw a lot of money. There's always like a guy every free agency that just gets a ton of money for not saying it's not deserved, but teams just throw a ton of money because they have that money to spend, and you might as well spend it and go get a guy, right? So I think Reeves is gonna get some offers, but I think Reeves is knowledgeable enough to realize like he's in a great situation here. You're playing with a lot of talent that you can learn from, not only just on the
Yeah,
court, but just like
I think he's up here with it
outside.
too. He's like,
Yeah.
do I really need to, do
And
I
it's like,
really
dude,
need
you
to
went
say
from
no?
Oklahoma to LA. It's hard to leave LA. As somebody who left LA, it pained me to leave LA. I loved it there.
Austin
I miss
Reeves,
it. I still miss it.
I can tell you one thing: you wouldn't have a shoe, buddy. I don't care what brand it is.
Yeah.
If you weren't playing in LA next to
Next to
LeBron James,
LeBron and yeah, yeah, 100%. And I think him and LeBron have a great
get your
relationship.
get your Jack Harlow bag, brother. Get the
Yeah.
endorsements.
Yeah.
You can be on any commercial for
Yep.
a dine in carry
I mean,
out.
dude, the rumor is he went on a date with Taylor Swift. Dude, talk about the come up.
you
She's
know
got a banner in LA, bro. She's got a banner in
no
Staples.
who's another Big 12 shooter that's entering this draft of a similar fashion? Grady
Trying to
Dick.
think. Oh, Mr.
I'm
D.
here. I
Mr.
think
D.
I think he's gonna hoop, bro. I think he's gonna hoop, and I
On
think that he will.
GD.
I think he will at least be Corey Kispert, which was a guy that you're happy to have walked away from the class with a couple years down the line.
No, he can play. He can definitely play.
And
Um,
I think the upside's there. He might have some Reeves potential to be like, yo, this fool is out here,
you can play.
getting these minutes, like,
He can
earning
play.
these minutes. I'm not mad. Like,
He's
we might have
athletic.
something here.
I like him a lot. I think he's a more
And he looks
offensive.
comfortable. He looks like he knows himself, and he's not like how Reeves has his own little swag. I think Grady Dick is like,
Yeah. He's like,
great,
no,
what's up, bro? Like,
yeah,
man, I don't care. I'm gonna shoot my shot. Like,
I'm gonna do my thing. Yeah, 100%. No, I'm with you. I am interested. I think Reeves ultimately stays a Laker, but I'm interested to see what teams offer.
let's keep that energy in there. We also we talked about on the side about the rumors of DiVincenzo going to New York to
Yes.
link up with his
Here
Noble
for it.
boys.
Here for it. Here for it. Here for it.
They would
Link
be
up with your boys from college. Do it.
they would be
There's
one
nothing wrong with
Mykal
linking up
Bridges
with.
away from running it back. And who's
Yeah.
our guy? Chris Jenkins.
Yeah.
Does Chris Jenkins need a 10-day?
Yeah, where are we at, Mr. Jenkins?
Chris Jenkins, can we
The
get you a summer league invite
dude. No, I
to the New
mean,
York
shoot.
Knicks
Hey, if I'm Dante, heck yeah. Let me go hoop with guys that I already know how to play with, and
with
let me
my
go hoop
guys? We haven't
in
seen
a
a team,
big city.
put together college buddies like that in a real way. Like, hey, all right, we're gonna go get your guys that you went to war with before. Like,
Yeah.
that would
No,
be
and
kind
he'd
of
be
dope.
great for that team.
That would
He'd
be
be
kind of
great for
dope.
that team because you bring in Dante and there's natural chemistry there. Now, if you're New York, hey man, let me go see what Emmanuel Quickly's like trade value is real quick. Maybe I can
Yeah,
go
bro.
get,
Heck yeah.
maybe I can package him with RJ or maybe I can package him with Hartenstein and I can go get somebody that I mess with. Like
Yep.
that just changes things. So no, I'm here for that.
New
Dante,
York,
go
New York was
go.
also ninth on my list of cap space teams.
Yeah,
They got options, and they got players that are movable
yep,
and good.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Randall might not be back next year. RJ
Right,
might not be back next year. Mitchell
right,
Robinson might not be back. We don't know. But I
right,
don't think that they're just going to run it back with everybody.
right.
And they got some money to bring somebody in. Uh,
Exactly.
yeah, no, man. It's free agencies. It's looking pretty fun.
I'm excited for it. I certainly will be awake and ready to go for just refreshing Twitter. Woj versus Shams. Yet again, we get the prize fight on Twitter, and I'm excited to see what happens. Hopefully,
This
there's
is
some
this
big
is
changes.
this is Pacquiao Marquez 5.
Dude, this is a heavyweight round. They are just throwing haymakers at each other. And I'm ready for it, man. I love free agency. It is a great reminder. Free agency is a great reminder that guys who work really hard get what they deserve for putting in that hard work. And it's always good to hear those stories. But then it's also a reminder that, you know, some guys need all-stars to win rings and, maybe some super team happens
Yeah.
that we're not aware of that's in the works right
Oh, and before we leave this, because this is kind of lumped in with trades as well, one guy that I did mention who is just one of my guys I'm a fan of. I would always want him to be on my team. And I know that he's not going to fit every rotation, but I'd love to have the option of him as Matisse Thybulle. He might be in a new
Right,
he has the option of being in a different jersey next year. He's
right.
on this list of guys where it's like guys like if the right team gets him, you know, or just him and him, he has upside. He has a ton of upside
Also,
for
I'm going to
me.
throw this out there for Dame. San Antonio. Sell high on some of your younger prospects. Maybe you're not entirely sold on Vassell. Maybe you're not entirely sold on Keldon Johnson, and you got some future draft capital. Why not? Maybe you can swing for Dame and you can pair up Dame with Vic and see where it goes. Like,
Wow, bro, I'm slightly aghast because yeah, yeah. So another stat that I saw in the draft covers that I watched quite a bit after I got home, and there was a graphic of the San Antonio Spurs record the season prior to acquiring David Robinson
Mhm.
and Tim Duncan, and the wins added the following season.
Yeah.
Staggering. Did you see
Yeah.
it?
I don't recall the specifics, but I think I saw something on Twitter about this.
Bro, it's staggering.
It is.
And I haven't been able to locate it since because I wanted to again. But
Yeah.
I guarantee you, folks, give or take, 2 or 3 for margin of error, both of them, because it was one number off that the difference between the two of them, and it was in what was like an 8 or 9 year gap, 92 versus 98 or
Yeah.
however it played out. Both of them added 49 wins to the team the following season.
Well, Chuck said it best. He was like, whoever gets Wembanyama is probably going to the playoffs.
No, he was hating the last time we talked about it
Oh,
because
I'm thinking
no,
about the first episode he was on.
yeah, no, but we agreed. I said I was like, hey, I think we're on the same page that if you're telling me this team's in the play-in, I don't think you're crazy, right? His take was that somebody has to be bad in what's a loaded West,
Right.
and and San Antonio does have to kind of nurture this, but also, why don't we go all in now so that if this brother were to maybe not have the longest career, we got our
At least
lickings.
maximize the window. Yeah.
We got our lickings for real. We got our lick back early because, like I said, they're number 3 on this list. They have money. If
Yeah.
Dame was a free agent, they could sign him right now.
Yeah.
And that's a smart ass team and organization. The same way they added, 45, 50 wins to their, prior season totals with Timmy and with David Robinson. He had the Illuminati dinner with all these guys and Manu and Popovich and RC Buford, I'm sure, waiting at the table when they walked in.
Sean Elliott.
he had the dinner, folks. Like, we don't have a choice to approve or deny this anymore. It's in motion. The Spurs have their chokehold on the Western Conference for the foreseeable future again.
Well,
And,
I would like to raise that.
They can. They don't need all these freaking young cats. This team doesn't really make sense right now. Yeah, get these fools out of here. We got Dame. We have because they also picked up Sissoko City, I think, in the draft.
They got guys. They also still have Sohan.
And you can take any of these guys. Trey Jones is a fantastic. He's actually a free agent in this draft. They'll probably get him back. But Trey Jones was great. I didn't know why people didn't think that Tyus Jones' younger brother was going to be good. And when he was a carbon copy, if not a little better, but he was part of that Zion RJ class where it was a lot going on, and he wasn't a great jump shooter yet. But they've got guys, dude. They've got guys to make deals with. They picked up some assets for the expiring Jakob Poeltl last year. They, like you said, Keldon. They gave a lot of time to guys like Malachi Branham last year. I know we're in the weeds now, folks, but it's like, hey, dude, you were right, dog.
No,
I like that. Let's not rule that out. Why should they be done? Why would they waste it? And Wemby's going to need some time just to acclimate, and they probably don't want to rush it either. But if we can get Damian Lillard, who's, like I said, bring in the spot, he's not falling off yet.
Yeah.
His best year statistically last year.
No, we'll see. We will certainly see what happens with Dame. I'm sure the nation will be keeping an eye on what happens.
Before we get out of here, we're going to spend some time talking about some young cats. We were talking about Wemby.
Yep.
Wembanyama and, for me, Scoot Henderson are asterisks on this list of they will be included next year. But what this is, folks, this is the 22 and under, I wish he was my guy list.
Yeah.
Guys in the NBA right now. So there's no rookies from this class that are going to be on this list. These are guys under 22. There's not I'm sorry, folks, we didn't go on the calendar and check birth certificates for the 22. It's a slightly loose 22. We don't have 23s on here though. That's what we don't. We don't have like 23 coming into last season, 23 last season. Like you'll catch our vibe as we run these lists down. But the cutoff point was kind of the Garland, Zion, RJ.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, these guys are like also 22, but they've like inked their extensions.
Yeah.
And like they've been in the league for 4 years. Why are we, talking about these guys next to guys who played for one season? Like,
Right.
I want to hear your list now because you sent it to me and I was like, no, I'm not reading it. And I'll preface with I made a control population for all our med students out there, or whatever this is referred to as a control variable of what 2K has, which 2K is a great reference, folks. It's a great reference point for the game of basketball.
It is. People won't understand it, but it is.
I listed the guys in order of who was under 22 and just what overall is top to bottom. So we have that as just a guiding. That's our rubric here.
Yeah.
That's the textbook. You're not coming to D Hoop University if you haven't purchased 2K, the latest 2K, and are somewhat up to speed.
Right.
That's the textbook we're following over here. But anyway, let me hear your list, bro, because I said let's do like top 15.
Yeah.
I listed the top
15,
23. And I got a list that I'm cheating
guys.
with.
I'm ready to rock.
Let's go.
At 1, undisputedly. And if you dispute this, I urge you to go watch some more basketball and play some more basketball, whether virtually or physically. At 1, I have Paulo Banchero. I think Paulo Banchero is LeBron James 2.0, but he's a little bigger and he's going to develop that jumper. But his ability to facilitate is uncanny for that size and that strength. I'm a big fan of his game. I like Paulo at 1.
Paolo was he was kind of the foundation for this list because we're both high on Paolo.
Yeah, we both are.
And he had Team USA implications that we didn't get to talk about yet, but good. I'll let you run this.
At 2, I have Tyrese Halliburton. I think he is the best point guard at the age of 22 or younger. Right now, two-way, high IQ, awkward jumper, but it can hit from deep, gets to the rim, gets his teammates going. I like Tyrese at 2. At 3, I have Ant, playoff performer, volume scorer, can fill it up both ways. Defensive efforts there, although he's not the best defender, but I do like Ant at 3. At 4, I have Franz Wagner.
Jesus.
Love Franz. Love this guy's game. I think he's only going to get better. But I love Franz. His size, his athleticism, his ability to facilitate, his ability to be a screener and a ball handler. Pause. I love it. I love everything about it. At 5, I have LaMelo Ball. People are sleeping on LaMelo, including me. I went back, I watched some film, I watched some highlights. I like LaMelo at 5. Injury prone a little bit, which is why he's not higher, but give me LaMelo at 5. At 6, I have Jalen, quote, fuck Jalen Green - Bill Simmons.
Green.
At 6. I love Jalen Green. I think Jalen Green gets a lot of flack because Houston's just been a dumpster fire of an organization in terms of management. I like them bringing in Ime. I think Ime is going to coach him hard. I think he's going to take the next step. He's freakishly athletic. He's got a great jumper. I think he has more 30-point games at this age than Michael Jordan did at this age, which is something to say because Michael Jordan was a flamethrower when he first came into the league. So I like Jalen Green at 6. Debate with a wall.
He came in the league of what? What's that stat? Is that he has the most for his age, or it's that most in like first 2 seasons or something like that?
It's the most like 30-point games by somebody under the age of like 22.
Yeah, it's like Mike came into the league at like 21, 20.
Whatever. He was filling it up when he came in.
Jalen came in at a cool 18.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I got Jalen Green at 6. At 7, I have Şengün, baby Jokic.
There we
He's
go.
athletic. I think Ime is gonna really turn this guy into a nice two-way player. You saw what he did with Rob Williams, but now imagine if Rob Williams could pass, shoot, and facilitate. That's what you have in Şengün. At 8, I have Josh Giddey, the Australian boy wonder, the luscious locks, the Louis Vuitton drip to the toe. I love Josh Giddey's game. I think him in this point guard slash alternate guard role with Shea only makes him better as well. The jumper is a bit of a concern. Obviously, he's not a great jump shooter, but you don't have to be a great jump shooter to affect the game. Just ask Rondo. He was able to affect the game at very critical stages of playoff runs without being able to hit jumpers. I like Giddey at 8. At 9, and this might be a bit of a surprise, ladies and gentlemen, I have Chet Holmgren. And now you're probably wondering why. Why do I have Chet at 9 when he hasn't
Not
played a
a,
single game?
I will tell you that it's not a surprise because we talk offline. I made my list and then I did Chet with an arrow between my 7 and 8 spots because I think he's
I
there.
love Chet. I think Chet's the reason Oklahoma City is going to be a top 6 seed next year. I think Chet has a legitimate chance at winning Rookie of the Year and Most Improved Player.
Chet gets basketball. He understands basketball.
Chet is a hooper. And the
Yeah.
thing about college ball that people don't realize is you're so defined in a role at college basketball based on your size. But when Chet gets to run in pace and space with guys like Jalen Williams, Giddey, Shea, he's flying to the corner. He's hitting threes. He's blocking shots. He can handle the ball. He can
Alley-oop,
handle the ball in pick and roll situations. He's going to
outlet
be
passes.
great. No, he's going to be great. And
Chet
don't
gets
be
a
surprised.
block outlet to half court,
Don't be
and
surprised
they're
when these
running.
guys are running and gunning. And Chet's the reason. And I think, people think it's a lock that Wemby's Rookie of the Year. It's not. I think Chet is gonna play really well for this team. And they're really gonna do some damage because of his versatility. So I have Chet at
He
9.
needed another year body wise anyway.
So did Ben Simmons. So did Ben Simmons. And he turned out fine for Philadelphia until the end.
Yeah.
At 10, I have Tyrese Maxey, Mad Max. I think Harden's gonna leave, albeit not sure to where. But with Harden gone, in theory, I think Maxey's game is gonna go to a whole new level. He's so fast. He's got an array of finishes around the rim. He's got the three ball. He needs the reins. He needs the keys in order to do a little more. But I like his game. At 11, I have Cade. I
Yep.
am big on Cade. I didn't see enough of him because of the injury, but what is he like 6'8", 6'9", point
Nah.
guard, but just
He's about
score?
he's about six. He's about 6'6.5". He's about 6'7".
Really?
Yeah, he's
I
about
thought
six
he's a
seven.
little taller.
Yeah, no, not quite, not quite.
No, maybe he just looks a little taller, a little bigger, but regardless, he's got the full package, savvy, smooth scorer, gets to his spots, never really in a rush. I like Cade at 11. I want to see more out of him, and I'm interested to see that pairing with Jaden Ivey. At 12, I have Evan Mobley. Bill Simmons would probably throw hands with me that I had him this low on my list because Bill Simmons is super high on him. I feel like Bill Simmons thinks he's like the next Tim Duncan, which he could be if he wasn't in Cleveland because that front court is just so jam-packed with uniquely talented bigs. But I like Mobley, two-way player, can kind of do everything. I haven't seen consistent greatness or like star power from him, but you always feel his presence, whether it's on the boards, whether it's in the post. I've seen him play in person, and he is incredible. His mobility, both just going for rebounds or making plays off the dribble for that size is incredible. At
Yeah.
13, I have Zion, and I didn't really want to disrespect him too much because when
Wait,
he's
no,
on the
yeah,
court,
excellent. Because I had him on my list, but I'm taking him off of where he's at now too. So Zion didn't exist.
at 13, then I have Scotty Barnes,
Yeah.
ex rookie of the year. Kind of had a down sophomore year, but Toronto was a mess, so I wasn't really sure what to make of the situation, but I like his size. He also can do kind of anything on the floor. I don't know about his jumper. I assume he can knock it down when it's open, but I think he's got something left to prove, and I think this last season kind of gives him a little extra motivation.
Yeah.
At 14, I have Benedict Mathurin,
Ooh,
Rookie of the
Benny.
Year, I believe. Um,
No. You said rookie of the year?
was he not Rookie of the Year this year? No, he was six. No, was he rookie last year?
No, he was just
He was just
he was
nice.
probably he was probably first team.
He
Paulo
was
Paulo was
okay.
unanimous,
No,
except
Paulo. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. He
but
was
yeah,
he was
no, he
vying
was the
for six man.
consensus. He was a
He was vying
consensus
for
steal
six
of the
man, I
draft.
think.
Like, oh, upside, like,
Yeah,
oh, this guy's
that's
really
right.
good. We missed it, or
No, he's good. Yeah, yeah. I think that's what it was. I think I'm confusing because he might have almost won six man. I think they gave it to Brogdon, but I think he was in there for six man of the year. Um, but he's a beast. He's walked the walk against every guard that's out there. He's a dog. He plays until the final whistle. I like that a lot. And at 15, I'm gonna slot in Keegan Murray. He had a great rookie year. I
Keegan
never
Murray's
knew
low key
he
like
had
23. But yeah,
uh,
I know.
yeah.
The Keegan
I
Murray
didn't
is like, yeah, he's an older
I
guy too, but no, for real. Nah,
yeah.
respect. You know, he would be.
I
He would be on mine. He would be on mine too. I kind of
yeah.
aired younger. Like I went, I was like, let me put a younger guy instead. But yeah. I feel you for the exercise. Yeah, he was in that range for me too.
And that's my list.
I respect it, dude. I respect it. How do you? Because we'll talk about all these guys in more depth as I walk through mine. Because mine's is different. Mine's is definitely different. I'll 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 run you mine, and I'm
Yeah.
making one change on the fly because I'll just insert Chet where I have him, and it's going to sound a little, you know. So I had Zion in the top 7. I'll put Chet where I had, which is somewhere in that range, and take Zion out.
Yeah.
Um, Number 1, I have LaMelo.
Crazy.
Bro, I get it. I get it. And it's only it's kind of so that I wasn't just like we're homering Paolo Banchero right now
Yeah.
because I am the same way. I'm going to extend, talking about him, and I have him second.
Yeah.
But I have LaMelo first because I just am still, you know, I'm still wanting to be vocal, and even more so in the fact that like, yo, LaMelo's very freaking nice and not really replicable, and is stride for stride with Halliburton in terms of being a well-rounded point guard that has, 3-level shooting, has great vision, has size and length, plays passing lanes, can kind of turn it off and on whenever they kind of want. I think Melo has closer to a 22 per game, 23 per game, 24 per game, which is he's already done for extended stretches. Scoring to go with volume assists, stretch rebounding, some steals,
Yeah.
and on good percentages. And I think he enhances the guys next to him even more than Halliburton is. That's just me being
Yeah.
honest. That's my take on it right now.
Yeah.
Love Halliburton too, but Melo's my guy. Melo's my
Yeah.
guy, man. I think that dude's gonna be great, and he's got a couple inches on Halliburton. He's literally 6'7", 6'8", and gets to it. I know he's as thin as a dime, but still got Melo number 1. Number 2, I have Paolo. Like you said, there's not another 240 plus pound guy in the NBA that is as comfortable with the ball in his hand, no matter where they are on the court, with
Yep.
the ability to overpower you, be more agile than you, hit a jumper over you, get to the free throw line and make his free throws,
Right.
or facilitate. That brother's
He's the
special.
complete package.
Yes, 100%. And mentioned Team USA because he just confirmed that he joined the roster, guys. He's he answered the call, ladies and gentlemen.
He answered the call.
He answered the call, and he might have ruffled some feathers in Italy in the
Yeah,
process.
he might have.
But once you put on that Team USA, it ain't coming off.
No, I agree.
It
I
ain't
agree.
coming off. So that was a big one. That was a big get.
That was very big.
I also have Anthony Edwards at number 3,
Nice.
and could put him, above some of those guys. But I think that he's not going to surpass, those guys and sort of how outright better he is. Equal ceiling. Equal ceiling.
Equal
I'm
ceiling.
leaning on those guys for their skill level kind of more so right now.
Yep.
Next, I have Halliburton. Actually, this was a flip flop. I drew an arrow. Next, I have Mobley, bro. I've got Mobley at 4. He's a 7-footer with he's kind of got the Pau Gasol move set. Not move set.
Yeah.
He's got the Pau Gasol like motion,
Yeah.
and just his like squareness
Yeah.
and like, feel around the basket for like a big. And he's more of an athlete than Powell was, for sure. Powell didn't run up and down the court like that guy. And if he's ever able to add some range like Chris Bosh did, and he's trying, I don't think he needs to, though. If he, really hones in, that guy is mean block to block, a mean piece defensively.
Part of the reason why I had
and
Mobley
offensively
so low is the situation he's in. He's not in it's kind of like Bam almost. He's not in a situation where he can maximize his talent.
It's not, I don't think it's that bad either, though. Cleveland just happens to have one guy whose skill set is kind of redundant in that he doesn't provide complementary skills. It's just,
Right.
He's going to bang the boards and live in the paint too. They don't have a ton of guys that do that beyond that. That time share is pretty much reserved for the two of them. And they can always move Jared Allen,
Yeah, they could.
So
they could.
It's not, they're not stuck because there's teams that would love to have Jared Allen. And if they think they need to shift the court, because we didn't mention this earlier either, but they're talking about Garland being available.
Yeah, that's weird.
We're going to give that one another day. We're going to give that one another day or so to cook in the pot to see if that's actually something. But I have Mobley up there, dude. I'm high on him. I think he's going to develop a reliable post game, along with great touch, roller, putbacks on offense, covering ridiculous space on defense, trust you with defense as the year goes on. 5, I have Halliburton. Love Halliburton. I'm with everybody. He's a great team guy. Does almost nothing that you hate.
Yeah.
I'm with everybody on it. I think that everybody is, coming around to that because he was low key. So it's like I'm not trying to take it still much further than that. It's possible though. I had him in fantasy last year. Loved it. Loved it. And more than familiar with that brother's game. So I would love to have him this year again. So the coming year. At 6, I have Cade Cunningham.
Nice.
He hasn't lost that spot for me. I think Detroit did what they could to enter the Wemby sweepstakes last year and ensure themselves a chance. Didn't pan out that way. And they at the same time said, we're not going to aggravate our guy at all yet right now. If he needs another year or two just to keep getting older and stronger, we'll give you a year, buddy. Because it'll might screw load man. That's the young guy version of load management. Guys come in and they're still growing.
Right. No, that's the way the league is these days.
And Cade wasn't the youngest buck when he was drafted.
Right.
But what was for 1 year of college that he had, there's a maturity and a grown manism to the way he plays.
Yep.
And poise, and there's some
can't speed the guy up.
Yeah,
he's just so locked in.
There were segments where that dude was going back and forth with guys in crunch time in his rookie season. Lest we forget. So I'm still here with Cade. I'm high on him. He has some athletic kind of ceiling with his explosion and like pop, but it's like, he he's gonna still add to that frame and be a bully of a lead guard or
Yeah.
off ball guard. So
Yeah.
yeah, high on K, dude. Next toss up, I will go. I'll go Chet with you, dude. I'm
Yeah.
going Chet with you at 7
I like Chet.
because
I'm
yeah,
big on
I
Chet.
don't think it's rocket science.
If you're big on Wembanyama, you should also be big on Chet. That's just the way I see it. It is
If you're
very
not, you need to
similar.
you got to pay a little more attention to what Chet did.
Yeah,
To what kind of guy you don't if so you don't know what kind of guy Chet is
exactly.
if you're writing him off too easily like that. And I think
Exactly.
we'll see. I'll speed this up. Next, I got Şengün. Love
Yeah,
Alperen. Love them since
me
summer
too.
league. Watched them in summer league. Said that brother special. I saw him hit a three, a step in front of half court when he didn't have to shoot it. I was like, okay, no, that brother's special.
Yeah,
He's got some juice
yeah,
and he knows how to play this game. This post game is refined.
it is.
We got issues, folks. I'm seeing something. After that, I've got Giddey at 8. I think Giddey has the Ginobiliism
Yeah,
of, damn it, that guy came to play today.
yeah.
And like he's 6'7", 6'8", he's got real
Can do
size,
everything.
he's got real
Yeah,
coordination, IQ. My guy was sliding here and I wanted to get him up ahead of this guy, but at 10, I got Walker Kessler.
I thought about adding him.
I got Walker there.
Didn't watch enough of him to know, but I
Want
know
to
he's
watch
an
a little
elite
more, but
talent.
I also had him in
Yeah,
fantasy. And Chuck he dons guys the Great White Hope
yeah,
that suit up for university. And he once wore the title of Great White Hope. So I've always
yeah.
followed this guy. And I'm like, yeah, I like him. I like him. It's
I do
just,
too.
hey, I need you to do what you're doing.
Yeah,
Rounding out this list, Jalen Green / Williams. I wanted Jalen Green a little higher, but I do believe in those other guys a little more.
yeah,
Scotty, mixed on Scotty still, but
yeah.
he needs a different landscape in Toronto to
I
finish up.
think so as well.
Jabari comes in after
I
those guys for
wanted to
me.
add him. I wanted to add him. I am big on him. I found it difficult to have certain guys. I valued contribution to playoff success as well when I factored in this list, which is why I think people will be a little surprised that I had Maxi as high as I did. But
No, yeah, I feel you,
Maxi
dude.
Maxi does this with like regularity. And I think that's why I had him a little higher um than the Houston kid because the
Oh, you
Houston
know
kid
what? I think I forgot to actually put Franz where I meant to put him because he didn't make this list, but he didn't.
he
He
did.
wasn't supposed to not make the list. He was in
No.
my 9-10 kind of range, and he was falling for me because I like Franz. I like him. I still don't know what he is, but he also, to throw his name back out there, he has like some Pau Gasol to him,
Yeah.
mixed with being somehow a combo guard. It's
It's
like,
crazy. It's crazy.
okay,
He's big bodied too. So it's like I'm willing to get in the post
this
and
guy's
I'm
making
willing to just back
plays.
you down.
He's making plays out here.
Yeah.
And Ivy and Duran, sharp honorable mentions, but you know, kind of right there with you, dude.
Yeah.
That was a fun exercise
I
talking about
like
some
that
young
list.
guys.
Ours are surprisingly different. No Maxi.
Yeah, and it's not because I think all those guys are way better than him. I just, Maxi's
Yeah.
cool.
Hey,
Maxi's cool.
respect.
He's like all of that, but I think some competition's coming in the league at that position, and
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, quickly, some of these guys, and he's like, yeah,
Right.
the Bones Highlands of the world,
Dude, isn't it funny how Bones
is
Highland
it
was
isn't
just,
gonna get hunted in the playoff.
I love how Bones Highland was like, yeah, I like don't want to play with Nikola Jokic because I don't want to be told when I should be cutting off the ball and playing defense. And it's like, dude, they literally traded you and won a championship.
By giving your return 0 minutes.
Like you literally all you had to do was just like move off the ball.
He still got the ring.
Yeah,
But
we're
yeah,
still
no, that's crazy. Nah, that was fun, bro. That was fun, brother.
that was a good one. Shout out to Bones Highland.
Shout out, man. Shout out. Shout out to Shout out to all the guys, man. Shout out to
for all the dogs.
shout out to the dogs, bro. Shout out to the six. It's
They
coming,
coming, coming.
dude. You think we're not going to talk the Drake album off the top of whatever podcast
It's coming.
follows that release
It's
date?
coming. It's
I'm
coming. It's
scoot
coming.
over, Mr. Lillard. We got to talk about the boy.
Yeah, we do. We do. It's coming. Y'all better be ready. It's gonna be great. Um, and if you don't like it, also don't tell me you don't like the album after listening to it when it came out like an hour ago. Like, buddy, let your food digest. It takes 3 hours for food to digest. Like, at least give it
Yeah,
that much time.
like take a nap. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
It's like, oh, yeah, like these three songs were like bangers. And it's like, obviously, bro, like, you know what I mean? Like, doesn't take a genius to figure that one out. But
other
like,
than that, it was hit or miss.
it's just like, dude, like, oh my God, nah, yeah. Listen to the Drake album,
You think we're not going to talk about Utopia and
bro,
where Utopia is? Question mark, question mark.
dude.
Where
Nah,
is Utopia?
we've got great music
Is it
on the
at the
way.
is it at the liquor store?
We've got great music on the way. We've got incredible
Have you heard of the briefcase?
in the 305, Women Treat Me Like I'm Uncle Lou.
You know what I mean? Yeah, nah. Fun stuff. Fun stuff, folks. Get ready. Free agency's here. Summer league's coming. I'm going to spend some time with some family this weekend and hopefully on a beach or at Disneyland or all the above. We'll see. But it's going to be refreshing. So I'm also going to probably, try to work on some content while I'm doing it. So stay tuned, folks. Thank you for listening. As always, till next time.